Hi, welcome to I Waited, Was It Worth It? This is episode 3, and I'm your host, Jade Jabri. One of the ways that I waited was when I found out about that my relationship needed to come to an end. I was immediately like, all right, well, it's over, said and done. I don't want to do this. Then the Lord talked to me and said, forgive, wait, pray, and see. And I know it's the Lord because if wait was first, that wasn't me. Patience is not a thing. My virtue, it's not something that I would choose for myself, to be patient. Especially not in something like this. It's like, let's get about this piece immediately. But I now know that was a reaction from fear to say, well, it'll just be easier if I just leave and we don't deal with it. Everybody go about their separate ways. It'll be easier. But with the waiting and saying, okay, I jumped the gun a little bit. Let me see if there's something here possibly worth working on, So I went back and said, okay, let's see. Let's wait, pray, and see. Whole time, I'm just praying, God, I don't know why we can't just, let this be over with, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to pray. And then, like I said, I joke, but I was serious. Like, I don't know if that see, I don't know the inflection, if it was like in see or see. Wait, pray, and see. I didn't know what the see was, but I do know the wait and the pray, right? I was waiting to see if changes were going to be not even made, but if you were willing to accept that there changes needed to happen. I understood that the changes weren't going to happen overnight, but it was like, okay, what now? Are you going to stop, doing the things that got us here? And in the meantime, what was really important to me, because the first day I knew, it was like, I need to know what happened. I need to know all the times it happened, with who, where, the why, I need the gamut. If I'm going to stay. If I'm going to leave, then I don't care. That's between you, God, a therapist, hopefully, but that's not for me. And myself, naturally, I'm a nosy person. I want to know all the things. I'm the person who likes to sit through 3-hour movies. Side note, when movies started having series, I was like, yes, because I want to follow these characters forever. What happened? Did they have a baby? Are they together? What's going on? This is like, it makes me so happy when they turn movies into TV shows. They're like, the money, they're hungry. I am the audience. I want to know. I want to know all the things. But I had this piece about it and I was not just saying it to say it. I was very serious. If I'm going to stay, I need all the details, because these are all things that, got to work through to rebuild trust, to understand, the triggers, the issues, But if I'm leaving, I don't care about none of that. And I really meant it. But looking now, journals, I told y'all journal, right? In the time I'm waiting to see, so I did learn quite a few things about what happened. I'm not naive enough anymore to believe that I know everything that happened. Of course I don't. If you are dealing in a situation that is narcissistic, you don't know everything. You know everything that they told you, and the stuff that they told you may or may not be true, honestly. So I know everything that I was told. But when I did decide, when I was released, what I'm going to say by the Lord to say, all right, you're good now, I felt a peace about what I knew. I knew enough to let go. I know that closure in the typical way may not happen, but I had closure within myself. I know enough to not be nosy and peek back and try to figure out. If I would have left the night that I was like, peace out, everybody go your separate ways, my just natural self would have been agonizing and trying to figure out, well, why? What didn't I do? Well, I wonder what happened. I wonder who. I wonder when. The Lord gave me enough foresight to say, delete all these messages, go through and scrub. Side note, Facebook is a wonderful tool. You can go in there and be like, I don't want to see memories, tags, or nothing from this person, and it will take all that stuff away. Delete all the pictures, delete all the messages, so that I wouldn't go back and try to figure out, okay, this message is from this day, this don't line up. Oh, boom, 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 I found it here. Because when I say I'm nosy, that's the kind of deep diving and nosy that I am. I would have went back 7 years worth of text messages to a text message that didn't line up. But I had the Holy Spirit enough to say, delete all that. Do not torture yourself in that way. And so in that waiting period, while I was trying to, it's called discovery. And so when he was letting me know what happened and why it happened and all that stuff, that I told you guys about the day that I went to God like, yo, what is it? What am I not doing? What do I need to be doing? Because I knew that this is bigger than me. This isn't about what this is about. God, the Netflix example, let me, download all the things. So in the waiting period, he showed me, like I told y'all guys, grace in the gray. That I felt like if this ever happened, if I was ever cheated on, I would leave immediately. I judged myself for not leaving immediately. But it was like, you can't judge yourself for things that you've never been through. So then I had to take it a step further and say, have I judged people who have waited or who have stayed? I don't really know people, but having that just overall judgment of people like, Tina Campbell, I know of her. And, the world feels like they have to say something, or like Beyonce, you feel like, oh, why would she stay that? Well, now, but they had millions, billions almost.
Beyonce now.
No, not Beyonce, but I'm saying as a person in the world judging other people's situations and never have been in there, or feeling like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done it differently. It's not my space. It's not my right. And so he was teaching me that I had judgments, or I held beliefs that would hinder me being able to reach other people. That my looking like, that person is a little wild, a little shaky, a little hoey, a little whatever. Any judgments that I had or was holding, knowingly or unknowingly, were not going to help me in the next level. And so by letting go of that judgment on myself, I could have grace for other people. And so that was the first thing he showed me. You have to stop being so rigid. You have to stop being judgmental in that it's this or that or nothing else. Because if not, I would have just stayed in a space of judging myself and feeling so bad and down, like, how could you even think about staying in a situation? So now we keep going forward. We are, like I said, trying to see if possibly. That's what I kept saying the whole time. I'm not saying I want to save this relationship and stay in it. I want to say, is it even possible to maybe, is there a reason that we should? So go on some more, find out about some more cheating, find out about cheating that's still currently happening. And I'm like, yo, Lord, what up, man? What's next? What are we talking about here? Because I don't know. So if there was a night where I found out about, so when I said, peace out, then I said, okay, well, let's see. Some more infidelity or for whatever, some more indiscrepancies happened, right? So, all right, well, we're going to put that in the grace area of, okay, all right, I had said it was over, whatever, digress, right? So now we here. So let's figure it out. And so that's when I really realized about the narcissism, to say, oh, snap, there is no empathy here. There is no love here. You are still saying one thing to me and doing something completely different. And now actually, at this point, I still don't know what narcissism is, but I do know enough to know that this is not what it's supposed to look like. If you did something wrong, you should be apologizing in this way. You should be behaving in this way to right a wrong. But that's when the Lord had checked me and said, you don't get to decide how people are supposed to act. Your shouldas and your coulds, and this is what it should be. You need to let that go. If you hold these, well, people should do this and people should do that, that builds resentment, versus taking responsibility and ownership of, this is what I would want to happen. Now, if I have to take responsibility, then I can speak on it. Well, I would like for you to, side note, 2 kids. Just a moment. Pardon them. So when you take ownership and responsibility of what you want to happen, now you can speak on it. I would like for you to call me. I would like for you to let me know before you make plans. I would like to hear from you on this issue by this time, versus assuming what you would think a person should do. So by giving up that idea, it allowed me to change my communication and change the way, and basically, like I said, just take ownership of what I wanted. So now, okay, because I'm still in the space of let's see, maybe. So then I go forth and say, okay, this is what I want to happen. This is what I expect, and I will not tolerate different. Well, that didn't happen. I was, up front. I was set something up, and it was not received. Okay, so now I'm like, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. People are different. Let people have their feelings. Continue. And now we're at the biggest, serious one for me, is about trust. So in the meantime, in between time, I told y'all guys I was waiting and praying. I would not pray. I felt myself, I could not, would not pray, God, save this relationship. I could not, would not pray, God, in this relationship. Because I was afraid that if I prayed to save it, that I was asking for trouble. If I prayed to leave it, that I might miss out on something. And that's when God was showing me, you need to trust me. It's part of the gaslighting that I was very trusting of him, of people. And then, so at the beginning of our relationship, I told you guys about the love bombing, and you was so open and transparent with a lot of information. Now, a few years later, it's, I don't trust that you are going to not judge me. I don't trust that you're going, this is like, felt like it wasn't a safe space. And so, I'm trying to figure out, what did I do to cause this flip? Like, what have I said or done that made him feel like, this wasn't a safe space? So when he said things, I didn't react a certain way. I tried not to judge. I tried to listen to the point where you were telling me like low-key outlandish things, and I'm not reacting because I don't want you to feel like, you can't trust me with your truth, or this is not a safe space. And even with all that, I still always felt like, okay, there's something you're not telling me. There's something, why can't I be your person? If you're, feeling something, come to me. Let's work it out. But just wouldn't. And so feeling like I was untrustworthy. But it was, like I said, it's a part of the gaslighting part of the things. And so now I can't trust, he doesn't trust me. I'm doing my darndest to say, okay, well, let me lead by example and trust you. So I don't check up on you. I'm not, where are you at? Unless it was like late and I was tired of the sure, come get your kids. No, but like, I'm not in your phone, blowing you up, stalking you, trying to figure out, because, well, for one, I never thought that this was going on, but also, trying to, how did they say, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I would tell him intimate or deep things about myself, like, this is the kind of dialogue I would like to have. But there was still no reciprocity. So I'm like, okay, what I gotta do to be more open, more, da 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 da. And that's when the God was like, you looking to put trust in this man, and you looking for him to trust you, trust me. I got this. So, and then in this waiting time, it was like, I don't really trust God. I believe that he's real, but I didn't trust him to just say, whatever your will be done, not mine. And whatever that looks like, I am okay with. So once we gotten through that part, me and the Lord, I was finally able to say, okay, God, all right, if you want me to stay, give me the strength and I will stay. If you want me to leave, give me the courage and I will leave. So found out the information that he was still messaging people and things like that. And so it was like, there's your sign. That's clear. That's easy. Deuces, right? Now it's I'm still in the waiting game. I feel like I can't, like, that's not for me. What, Lord, what is it that you have for me? Where do I need to move next? And so the whole time while I'm waiting to see what we're going to do, I was working. I have this a journal and notes in my phone to say work, Jade's work. I need to work on trusting God. I need to work on being more open. I need to work on being less black and white. I need to work on my own traumas, my own things. What is it about me or my mindset that put me in that relationship? And to say, okay, it wasn't my fault. I didn't sign up to be abused. I didn't get into that relationship to be like, I want to save him or change him. No, I believe the person that was presented. And that is, you believe, this parent that presented, you believe the sibling as who they presented to be. You believe the boss as who they, we're going to do all these great things. And that's the subtle difference between between a toxic relationship or just a bad situation. Like if this person is truly displays narcissism, they're going to have presented something to you that was different than the truth. Like he wasn't just a bad boy and you was like, I like a little danger, I'm going to go. No. They really presented themselves as this great person. And now you're realizing, oh, snap. Jekyll and Hyde, So it's like, well, what is it about me that attracted that? What is it about me that once I was in it, didn't, like I said in that one journal, I didn't see what God was saying to me so clearly. And that's part of my work. And then to say, okay, now I've been in this abusive relationship. What is that I need to do to heal and not to get into another one of any sort? How do I shore up my defenses without becoming bitter or cold or just like, you know what? can't trust nobody, everyone in the world will lie to me. I likened it to breaking a leg and wearing a cast, and then once your cast comes off, being afraid to say, I'm never gonna walk again because I might break my leg. Well, if you weren't never gonna walk, you kind of didn't need to waste the doctor's time, your medical insurance. You could have just kept your broken leg. But if you're gonna go through all that healing and all that time, with child, when they come off, better run. So my goals and my desire is to love again in every capacity, but to show up and have better relationships. So part of my work was just that, showing up as my full self, not shrinking back, learning myself. Who am I and who is it that God has called me to be? And not to allow anyone, especially not myself, to just fall into life again. Because at that time, I had, like I said, I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to be doing. So I ended up just kind of being a mom and being in this relationship. And but it wasn't genuine. Not that my intentions weren't good. It's just that I was called to more. And that being in that comfortable place, and it was comfortable in that it was like, this is what I'm doing. But I found a journal in child. It was so sad. But it was just like, there was a sadness that I was always sad and couldn't figure out why. Or just, if I wasn't sad, I was unhappy. And it was like, I need to be happy. I need friends. I want to do more, go out more, but couldn't figure out what it was that was keeping me from that or looking beyond. And I won't say that person was making me that way, because that's my responsibility, is to find my own happiness. But to be gaslighted and discarded and devalued all the time, where a lot of my brain power was going to how to make this relationship work, how to get back to that place. Well, they don't have a whole lot of time to cultivate, just your own creativity and joy, because you're constantly trying to figure, okay, why is this falling apart? What's wrong? So now, with, again, a lot of COVID time, to say, okay, what was going on? What was your issues? And a lot of Lord to say, okay, God, I surrender these issues to you. And that's why I said, call the thing. Lack of trust, fear, and anxiety. And those are two things that I've been known were issues of mine. But when things in life, like, okay, this is my relationship's going well, my children, all right, I don't got a whole lot of fear about this. But in the back of my mind, or not in the back of my mind, I joke and I say, quarantine for my kids wasn't a big transition, because I had been quarantining them. I didn't know the way we live was called quarantine, but my fear of going out in the world with my children daily kept us in the house 9 times out of 10. We'd go on an errand here or there, and just not. Now with the coronavirus being like, that's quarantine, you say, oh shoot, I'm parenting out of fear. With the cheating and abusive relationship, saying that's abuse, I'm saying, oh snap, I'm daily living in fear of, I can't just open my mouth and say, you know what, I don't want this anymore. I stand for this now. Now I'm in a space where all I can do is cultivate, what's the opposite of fear? Go. Cultivate faith and say, all right, God, I'm giving it to you. And learning how to name my emotions first when I have these triggers or these thoughts or these invading thoughts, to say, okay, this is an anxious moment. I'm not an anxious person. I'm a person having an anxious moment. Okay, what is triggering this anxiety? It's this, okay? And getting to the root of it, then I can uproot it. When I say, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And it's okay that I'm overwhelmed because of X, Y, and Z. But I don't have to stay overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed right now is not serving me. It's not helping me. I pray. I give it over to God and say, okay, God, peace. That's what I want. Peace, peace, peace. Give me your peace. A peace that surpasses all understanding. And all of this trouble and all this triumph, while I'm waiting, I'm saying, okay, God, what I'm constantly praying for is his peace. And not so much I'm constantly praying for the peace, but God, help me to remember that you've already given it to me so I can walk in it when I forget. And I learned about, fear and anxiety being my default setting. When in doubt, I would just go into these anxious thoughts of, well, what if, and then da. So part of even me being nosy is me being anxious, trying to figure out all the possibilities of the ways that this could go and why all these things happened, because I felt more comfortable, like, okay, if I know, and trying to be in control of everything. And that just, I won't say kept me up at night, but that keeps my mind going when I'm not present in this present. So that was another thing I was learning. and my counselor told me about be mindfulness, practice, focusing on what's happening now. So while we were going through the is it possibly can I see, and still finding out about, the continued cheating and others, here's a different part of this story and here's a little bit more of that story. I'm just saying, okay, God, where, give me the peace. And that the first night I prayed and downloaded the Netflix again, I felt this peace. So I knew it was with me. It was like, okay, God, yeah. So sometimes I default back into fear and I get all anxious and I get all hot and I get all, my bad. I forgot. We not that no more. We trust in the Lord, right? So I go back and be like, all right, okay, peace. That's what we had. The peace that surpasses. And it helped me get through. And it's a place and it's a joy that this relationship didn't make me anxious. It didn't cause my fear. Like I said, I've had that for as long as I can remember. But being hurt like this, to say, God, I don't want to be hurt like this again, taught me to say, this is what the French dose you need. You need to learn how to depend on me, to trust me that I got you and I will get you through this. And I've gotten you through everything else in life, actually. And to say, I truly believe that this relationship, start to finish, I know, like I told you guys, 2 kids later, it's hard to say that I wasn't supposed to be in this. I wasn't, but his grace brought me through it. And then when it got, it started getting too hot and it's like, okay, this is getting real, take you up out of there now. Now, do you see why it's important to trust me? And that may not be your truth, but there are things in your life that you may be going through and it's like God had to take you the long way. And it may feel like, oh, was that all necessary? Well, yes it was, because clearly I'm willing to be like, yeah, that's not what he's talking about. It's all right. Let's keep trucking. Not today. And when I say I don't want to be hurt like this again, I'm not saying that I'm not going to put myself out there again. I'm saying I know that I can't be hurt in this way again because I know that God is going to be with me. So if I put my heart on the line and it's stomped on and broken, I know a healer. I know somebody who is near the brokenhearted. So it's not going to be this like this anymore. And because there's new truths and there's real changes that are occurring in me. And so, but like I said, it first took me to realize, yo, you was a victim of that crime. You was like, let's say you got jumped, right? You was a victim of a jumping. Jumping's not a crime. It is your responsibility to get the healing. Okay, like I said, so you was a victim of your jumping and your leg got broken. It is your responsibility to go to physical therapy. Yes, that person, they took your legs from you that day and they put you in all that, but it is on you to take responsibility to move forward. Now, I'm not saying you gotta be like, well, why did they jump me? What did I deserve to be jumped? No, that's not the part that I'm telling you to take responsibility for. It ain't had nothing to do with you, honestly. They would have jumped anybody who was coming. That's how this narcissism thing works out. There are people before you and there's gonna be people after you. So that part ain't got nothing to do with you, but it is your responsibility to say, okay, how do to learn the red flags, to see them and to address them and to move forward fast. And so one of my things, like I said, is just about trusting God and to know who I am and to show up as me fully all the time and to not to shrink back. So when I am presented with a situation, because it's going to come around again, that it says, okay, this person, they might not even be a bad person, but they are toxic for me. So like I said, you take ownership and responsibility for your wants versus shoulda, coulda, woulda. So if I'm a person who wants quality time. So instead of feeling like, oh, well, a romantic partner should spend time with you. No, I require that you spend time with me. If this person cannot, that's okay. But I know that wouldn't be a healthy relationship for me to be in with a person who is too busy and I can't never fit in their schedule. That wouldn't work for me. Now, another person with no judgment, no shade, who is like, you know what? I require alone time. I require space. Match made in heaven. But if I'm not honest with who I am and I'm like, okay, well, this person, I just really like them so much, they don't have a whole lot of time, so it's okay. I'm gonna change and I'm not gonna call them so much. And now I'm thinking who I am is less than, or maybe you're just too clingy. No. Ownership, responsibility, quality time. I like to spend time, get to know, deep in-depth conversations. So a long distance relationship would not be healthy for me. Not that long distance relationships aren't healthy. You get what I'm saying? So once you begin to understand who you are, accept those things. Now take who you are, and in my situation, now I'm going to line it up with Christ and learning who I am and being okay with that and standing in that, so that no matter what comes, I know what's healthy for me. I know what's good for me. And then a little further down, in a healthy relationship, there were things that I could do to be more appreciative to a partner. Like, make a plate or say more thank yous, be more affirming and more gratitude. And those are things that I will work on. But I know that, and you have to know that no matter how hard I worked on it in this unhealthy relationship, that wasn't going to change it. It was not going to make it better. So trying to figure out how to fix you to fix an unhealthy relationship or an abusive relationship, that ain't it, player. Now, I'm a little toxic, you a little toxic. We both aware of our toxicity and we are actively working together to change it. Now I can be honest and say, okay, yeah, I'm not that grateful. I'm not that forthcoming. I do be indecisive and I'm not honest about, all my wants and my desires. So, and I kind of just expect you to read my mind. They will see that, they will hear you, they will, meet you and work, and y'all are both working together. We're not talking about this. That's healthy, because all relationships across the gamut, they're going to have their issues, and healthy communication and really that desire to want to try and move forward. That's where you give the grace to say, okay, this is what I need. This is how I need you to show up for me. And they don't show up for you like that one time or the next time, because they're learning. You're learning. Heck, I just found out this is how you say this thing. So how they going to automatically know how to do this thing? So you give grace to let them do, and you work. But now as you watching and you giving that grace, if things are not progressing, then you're like, this ain't it, player. So in my situation, I waited to see if things were going to progress. They did not, player. So we going to fast forward, rewind. Y'all just go on this ride with me to the part where it's like, okay, so I said, nah, peace out. It's not working. You still doing what you're doing. Then I had this feeling like, okay, on the day that I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this official, it's really not gonna be it. I just was like, well, maybe we can just do be on a break versus being over. Y'all remember from Friends? And just like on Friends, Ross was on a break doing his own wilding out, right? And so I saw that, and it was like, and I felt like to a certain extent, it was like God was like, fam, what do I got to do to get you to understand that I am telling you to let this go? Let me have this, please. I was like, you ain't got to do another thing. I hear you. Yes, sir. We going to keep on moving in the way that you told me to move. So I just have to trust that God is in control and that he's going to take care of me. So like I said, when it was like, do I leave? Do I stay? What am I doing? And I trust that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and God has let me know all along the way. Whatever I needed to know, he has let me know. I haven't had to go looking for anything or asking questions. And when I tell you guys, the peace to say I am okay with not knowing what I don't know is mind-blowing to me. Is any peace, it's so calming, but it's also like, I don't know. This is new. I don't know. Y'all don't just pick fights. Oh, okay. Y'all don't just, oh, okay. Well, so trying to combat that daily and finding new things and finding joy in stuff. Again, joy set before you. It does feel very much like, count it all joy. Like, no, this is gonna be lit, okay? Ooh, trusting God is, okay. Especially because, like it's easy to praise and be excited when everything is going good. But to have everything be going wrong and still be going right, it's like, I can't wait till we get to the upside of this thing, till we get to the top of the mountain. But to even be going through the struggle with him, I saw this one meme that said, I'd rather go through bad days with God than have a good day without him. And I really now like, bro, that's what this is. So I waited. Was it worth it? I hope you guys are enjoying this series of this roller coaster. I'm a shot, this entanglement. No, it ain't no entanglement on this side. But it's just like, the story and pulling out the pieces. And I want guys to encourage you to, again, journal, find some therapy, some friends, some trusted people, vet these people, okay, that you can speak to, that can encourage you. Look into, put your symptoms or your feelings onto a Google search bar and say, okay, what am I dealing with?
Cancer.
No, Not WebMD. Don't do WebMD. Just Google. And as I say, hey, I mean, low key, it do feel like a cancer sometimes. You know, it's just invading and dumb. You know. Anyways, digress. To get help, speak up, speak out, because the more people who say, hey, this is me, I went through that, the less that these narcissistic people, less supply that they have, and preferably, then they'd be like, you know what? Eventually they'll see that it ain't everybody else, it might be them. Maybe they can get some help. You can help yourself, help the next generation, you know, make it a better world for everybody. So yes, please journal, reach out, speak up, speak out, guys. So thank you again. I'm your host, Jay Jabri, and I'll see y'all in the next episode.